Hey guys, Jarek here and Komodo's back. This time we're going to be doing some Sharpshooter in Black Ops 2. Let's go ahead and jump right into the questions. So if you want us to answer your questions, leave a question down below in the comments. We'll try to answer it in a future voiceover. So this question says, what are your favorite and least favorite characters in Smash? I'm going to be talking about Project M here just because that's what I've been playing the most as of late for the last, 6 months. Been playing it pretty much constantly. So I just want to talk about it. If you don't know what Project M is a mod for Brawl that turns the gameplay of Brawl into basically Melee, so basically Brawl but not terrible. And no tripping. So first off, let me go ahead and talk about my mains a little bit. I have always been a Marth and Roy main, and I was really happy to see that they brought Roy back in Project M 3.0. For those of you that don't know, like I just said, Roy is back. They brought the old Fire Emblem 6 character from Melee back into, I was going to say Brawl, but, you know, Project M really isn't Brawl or Melee. It's pretty much its own game.
Yeah,
like, it really doesn't play, I mean, it kind of plays like Melee, it's still the same gameplay, but we're quickly finding out that Brawl isn't really just, like, Brawl divided by Melee. It really is its own game. And the gameplay, we're still figuring out new things about it, and new things about characters and what combos really work. It's pretty interesting to watch. Whereas Melee, which, I'm not going to say Melee is entirely figured out, but it's definitely more figured out than Project M is. Granted, it is, came out in 2003, over a decade old. But yeah, my mains in Project M, like I said, Roy, I'm super glad. I like Roy a lot. I'm really glad they brought him back. They changed his moves a lot. He's still Roy, but they made a lot of minor adjustments so that he was actually usable. Because in Melee, Roy really was terrible. You couldn't use him competitively. He was just... His recovery was bad, his moves, he had no aerial moves at all. He was very reliant in his forward smash, you just could not use him. Well, in Project M, they've entirely changed his aerial moves. They gave him pretty much kill move back air. His neutral air is a little bit different, although it basically does the same thing, although I feel like it has more knockback, and a little bit more stun to it. His up air is pretty much the same. His down air now has a spike, which is pretty awesome, because not only does it spike people, but it sets them on fire. As if just spiking them wasn't enough. It's a little bit tricky to use, though, because it seems to be very specific right around your back leg. That's what seems to spike people. So, you know, it's hard to set it up, and you can still do things like, say, the Ken combo. But it's tricky. Combine that with the fact that Roy falls like a rock still. That's the one thing I don't like about Roy. They did make his recovery a little bit better, but he still falls really quickly, and his recovery is still terrible. It really is. It's not so terrible to the point of basically you gimp Roy easily, although you pretty much still can, just not as bad as Melee, but I don't know. I just wish he didn't fall as quickly as he did, because Marth's recovery is still a ton better. Yeah, long story short, I love Roy now. I'm glad they brought him back to the way he was. I've been practicing with him a lot. I'm still considering myself to be a Marth main just because I used Marth competitively for such a long time in Melee, and that's what's really first nature to me. And I know that works. Like, he is a proven character. He is going to be one of the higher tiers, although I don't feel like he's quite as good in Project M as he was in Melee, because his moves are a little bit more difficult now. At least the combos. The sword just works differently. I don't know if you really use Marth that much.
No, I hadn't.
Or at least I don't know if you've noticed, but his sword seems to be... The tip seems to be smaller, for one. In before sex joke. And two, it just seems to send people in different directions now. It doesn't seem to send them as far. I've noticed the Ken combo is a little bit trickier to pull off, and I've also noticed that it seems that his side Bs work well in placement of the regular forward air for the Ken combo. So it's more difficult to use Marth, but he's still a proven character, and you know he's going to work. So, yeah, Marth and Roy. Still like the characters. I would like it a little bit if Marth got a slight buff, make his sword work like it did entirely in Melee. Other than that, you don't need to do much. But yeah, that's how I feel about those two. I don't know about any characters that you specifically like. I know you usually play as Samus or Game & Watch.
You know, actually, just getting into, you know, playing as Game & Watch. First and foremost, originally, I wrote him off as a character when he was first introduced. He
does look like a gimmick character, because he's such a goofy, cartoony looking character.
I was just like, what the hell is this? I'm not going to play as him, that's stupid. And then you showed me all those videos, and I was like, holy crap, he can be amazing. And sure enough, I feel like he's probably one of the better characters that I can use.
Game & Watch is one of those characters where he's just funny. He legitimately is funny. I cannot get mad when someone pulls out a completely luck hammer and turns me into ice or spikes me. Like, if I lose that way, that feels better than knowing that I just flat out lost the game. Because Game & Watch really is a funny character to watch.
But see, it's really satisfying. You get that 8 or that 9, you turn him to ice, or you just send him flying off the screen.
Or you turn him into ice and then keep spamming the hammer, push him off, and they fall down and die.
But then sometimes you get that one and you're like, well, fuck.
That has literally no knockback at all.
It doesn't do anything.
Quickly before the game ends entirely. The other mains I use are Charizard and Ike. I love what they did with Ike. Ike's biggest problem in Brawl was that he was really, really predictable. However, in this one, you can now move out of his quick draw, which means you can grab people out of it, you can jump out of it, you can smash out of it. He's not predictable, and he is a scary character when you're fighting against him. That sword is strong, and it has a lot of reach. As for Charizard, I like the changes they made to him too. He's much more of an aerial character, and he can definitely kill you directly upward or downward or really anywhere. He can chase you all over the map. So he's still a big target, kind of a punching bag, but he's a pretty awesome character to use now. Anyway, there's been some more Black Ops 2 talking about a game not relevant to it at all. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you guys later.